Hey guys, what's going on? We are here. The day has finally come. I can't believe it. It's November and our sleds are in.
We got twins this year. We got black Skidoo 850 turbos, 154s, still shortening it up a little bit this year. But we're here at Trackside in Eagle River, and we're gonna do a couple things to these sleds today to get them dialed in for when we head out west in a couple weeks.
We got wraps, suspension, some Bikeman goodies. We haven't seen these things yet. We're gonna take you guys on back and give you the first look.
Here we go. So if you're coming through Eagle River, make sure you stop at Trackside to get geared up before you head up north. And while you're here, check out our merch.
Hit me up, I got something to say.
Here we go.
Hit me up.
What up, Dylan?
Not much. How's it going, guys?
This is also Dylan, service
to meet you,
manager here at
Dylan.
Trackside.
Couple Dylans here. Well. Here they be.
Man,
That's a beautiful sight. When the dealer calls and says, your sled's in, it's always awesome to hear. That's like the best phone call of the year.
yeah, we weren't sure when we'd get them. I've gotten Skidoos, I've spring ordered Skidoos for the past few years. I've gotten them as late as December 14th. I've gotten them as early as July 31st. So we were just hoping that they'd be here before November 30th when we make the trip out to Idaho. And sure enough, they came through.
They did, yep. So like we said, we got a bunch of stuff to install, so it's gonna take a few hours. Stay with us and watch the progress as these things get assembled and ready to hit the snow.
So for those of you that have been watching for a while, you know that I've been on Skidoo for the past few years. I had an Arctic Cat as well, but one of the biggest shortcomings of Skidoo, in my opinion, is the suspension. So first things first, we're gonna tackle that right away by installing Raptor kinetic front shocks and a Raptor Ace rear suspension. So here we got the entire Raptor Ace suspension. These are the kinetic shocks. These are about as good as it gets as far as a snowmobile shock goes. These have full compression and rebound adjustment, plus a sweet cam that allows you to adjust the spring at a pretty macro rate on the fly when you're out on the mountain. Moving on from that, we've got the entire rear suspension. So this is a complete suspension. The only things that will remain the same on mine are the front arm and the bogey wheels in the back. So this replaces everything else. I'm also going to be putting some bomber rails on that I had from last year. And then last but not least, front shocks. Also kinetic, also rebound adjustment. So we're not gonna do an entire how-to on how to install this suspension today, but if you get this, feel free to reach out to us on social media. We'll answer your questions. We've got some tips that we'll include in the video today, but we're happy to answer your questions on social media. So Raptor's got some great instructions here for us, so let's get started. So we got the skid assembled. I'm just putting a little preload here in my rear track shock while it's out of the sled, and then we're gonna throw it back under. Once we do that, we'll throw the front shocks on, and then it's time to put some clutching in, wrap pieces will get started, and these things are gonna start looking a little bit different.
Where do you figure? Oh man, I'm figuring over here. It's been a day. The rear suspension's the biggest project of all of this, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm excited now that we're beyond that point and we can start working on our wraps and then just the other little Bikeman goodies that we got. So it's pretty straightforward from here on out. To Jack's point, they're gonna be looking a little bit different. Out with the old, in with the new. But this is new, so it's not very old.
So with the new and in with the new, also
The new. We are on to the next step of these sled builds, and Since we are going to be torque link tuning these things through Bikeman, we do have to add weight to the sleds. These are new clutch weights that Bikeman offers. These are specific for the 850 turbos. Being that they are a brand new product from them, we don't really have much information and don't know where to start as far as how much weight to run on these sleds. So we're going to give them a call right now, talk to Joey and Aaron, and figure out what we got to do to get these things running right at the right clutch weight. Here we go.
I said text me first, man.
What up, Joey? It's Jack. We got Andrew here and Dylan. And we just got the new Hyper Adjust weights in the mail yesterday. And we're putting them on our 850 turbos. So we looked on the site. We know this is a new product. So we're not really sure what we should be running for weight.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're setting those up at about 84 to 86 grams, which is actually above what the weight is rated for, but we get there by adding slugs of tungsten in there. So it's a pretty easy weight to use, easy to set up, and we can even dictate where that weight is front to back. So yeah, we're going to run the small open jam screw to the end of it, and then we're going to put a tungsten in with the medium set screw behind it, bottomed out on the tungsten.
Got it. Okay, and then do we put another jam nut in the top, or is that unnecessary?
No. So the small one that you run right into the end will act as the end stopper. You can't actually put them in from the tip end. You can only put them in from the heel side. So you're going to run that small one right to the tip, and then put the tungsten behind it, and then you're going to run the medium in the back, kind of to jam the tungsten between the two set screws.
Okay, sweet. So yeah, from what I've heard, these turbos definitely like tip weight. But if you want to, like you said, you can move that weight relative to the weight itself, right?
Definitely. So if you want it to come on harder, quicker, say you're in more of a hero snow condition or something like that, you can shift that whole mass back towards the heel, and it'll come over center faster and have a lot more aggressive feel down low.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, we're really excited to test them out. We're going to be throwing them in the sleds right now and then heading out west in a couple weeks here. So, Dill, you got any questions?
No, that was pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Don't need to do too much more than that, I guess. So, good information.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Well, thanks so much for the help, Joey. We appreciate it. We'll call you if we have any other questions.
All right, sounds good. Later.
Thanks, dude. Well, sweet. So we got the skinny from Joey. That clutch chart I'm sure will be out soon. So we're going to load these weights and then throw them in our primaries and we'll be good to go. Okay, so I got my weights loaded up. They're over on the workbench with the tungsten and the set screws that Joey recommended. So now I'm gonna pull the stock components out of the primary clutch. This is pretty straightforward, and these weights can be changed out with the clutch on the machine. You just have to be careful because there are some pieces that you can drop. So I'm gonna pull these weights out, and then you'll see that these Bikeman weights actually replace a lot of the stock components. So they replace the clicker and the pivot bolt that you have in a stock Ski-Doo clutch. This will be my first time running a weight like that. I've run magnetic Bikeman weights before that maintain the clicker, but I'm looking forward to this approach. It'll be a little more straightforward as far as adjustability goes, being able to load these weights through the heel right on the sled. Now I got the pivot bolt out, you can see that the stock weights are composed of 3 pieces plus the pivot bolt. So you'll see that the Bikeman weight replaces all of that. So it's a similar profile. I'm not really sure how this profile is going to perform compared to stock. I assume it's going to be better. It's quite similar. But what I'm really excited about is the ability to load these weights how I want and be able to move that weight between the heel and the tip of the weight itself.
All right, so just to recap here what we've all accomplished. We've got all of the Raptor goodies on, front suspension has been installed, and now we're moving into some of these Bikeman goodies. Something that they just sent us and they just came out with the other day is this new 850 turbo charge tube. So these stock charge tubes have been blowing out when you're turning up the power on these sleds. So since we're going to be doing that, we're going to go ahead and install these charge tubes to prevent these from failing. So that's kind of the next step. And then we're going to be doing weights and wrapping these things, and voila, we'll have a built snowmobile. All right, the moment of truth. We are on to the wrap. Here we go. I'm excited to unroll this thing and get a look at it. Wow! Blue moon, baby, blue moon. Well, the time has come and Blue Moon is just about finished. I just cannot believe how well this wrap turned out. I was not expecting this blue and silver to work so well together. I couldn't be more pumped. Let's go put this piece on and call this thing a day. And that's a wrap.
Well, it has been a day. We put in about 12 hours in the shop here getting our sleds dialed in. They're just about done. There's a couple more things we got to do to them, but they're pretty much there.
Huge thanks to Trackside. Could not have done this without them. Letting us use their shop all day has been huge. Normally we work out of the trailer, as you guys know, but for a project this big, it was definitely nice to be able to do it in a heated shop space. So.
Yeah, and we got to thank Lucas and Alex Spees for coming to help us out. They put in some hours. We definitely owe them a couple beers.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So
definitely, more like a case of beer
Yeah.
each. That being said, thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate all the support. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and check out our merch too.
next stop, Idaho.